Hey guys, welcome to Pages with Sidra. Today we are going to start chapter 550 of I Have 90 Billion Licking Gold Coins. If you haven't watched the previous chapters, make sure to check them out on my channel. Now, without any delay, let's dive into the chapter. So much money. How many people's blood and sweat did it take to earn that? Qin Yuan shook his head with a sigh. Wankai, keep going. Yes, master. After waking up, Qin Yuan took Yao Qing out for breakfast. Then, like any other day, they went shopping. But just as they stepped into the mall, a loud argument broke out nearby. Let's break up. I told you not to mess with the stock market. Now all our money's gone. You still want to get married? I'm getting an abortion tomorrow. Please, no. Baby, I'm begging you. With a thud, the young man dropped to his knees. Get lost. Everything's gone. The house, the money, even you. He sobbed loudly, tears falling uncontrollably. No one stepped in. No one sympathized. Qin Yuan casually bought 2 Hermes bags for Yao Qing, but just as they turned to leave, a loud crash echoed from outside. A body hit the pavement. Blood. Silence. Boss, was that the guy who was just crying on his knees? Yeah. Must have lost everything in the market, his savings, his love. Couldn't take the pressure anymore. But, is money really that important? Can't love still go on without it? Isn't love supposed to be the most important thing? Yao Qing asked, confused. Growing up in the secluded Medicine King Valley, she had never cared for money. To her, money was nothing more than a symbol, certainly not worth dying for. In their valley, even gold was just glittering metal. They literally had an untouched gold mountain lying around, and no one cared to even look at it. She couldn't understand why these worldly people would choose to suffer so deeply over money. And that man was only the beginning. That same day, over 10 people jumped from buildings across Seoul. The ongoing financial crisis was ripping the country apart. Countless investors had lost their life savings. Many had even borrowed money just to invest. Now, with the market in free fall, they had nothing left. Drowning in debt, abandoned by their families, some simply gave up. These tragedies triggered mass panic. The crash in the stock market dragged down the housing market too. The financial bubble, already stretched thin, finally burst, sending shockwaves through every part of the economy. Korea's housing market had long been overheated, much like in China. Prices had skyrocketed, and the younger generation had become debt-ridden house slaves. Some had even given up on marriage and children altogether. Those who could afford a mortgage were considered the lucky elite. The rest? They didn't even qualify to become slaves. Now, with the collapse, thousands of companies faced funding shortages and had to sell off their properties to stay afloat. But there were no buyers. Even at half price, no one dared invest. What started as a trickle became a flood, everyone trying to sell, no one to buy. And so, the real estate market crashed. Companies lost liquidity, went bankrupt. Employees lost their jobs. Families lost income. It was a full-blown economic disaster. Only the young people who already had nothing felt unaffected. No house, no car, no loans, not even a job. Crisis? Whatever. It's not like I had anything to lose in the first place. Some even joked. Let the housing market fall further. Maybe then I'll actually have a reason to work again. Because how do you squeeze the poor when they don't even have a dime? 2 days passed in a blink. Then, on Monday morning, the stock market reopened, ushering in a so-called counteroffensive. All the major Korean conglomerates joined forces, pouring in funds to save the market. Prices finally stopped falling. Stocks even bounced back a bit. The panic started to settle. After a week of terror, investors' confidence was slowly returning. And right at that moment, international investors pounced. Smelling blood in the water, they flooded into the Korean financial market, hoping to make quick profits from the rebound. But Wankai had already turned its sights on them. These foreign capitalists thought they could snatch meat from a tiger's mouth. Little did they know, they were the meat. What made Wankai so terrifying wasn't just its ability to perfectly calculate the market's highs and lows. It could simultaneously control tens of thousands of trading accounts. In just 1 second, it could execute massive-scale transactions, faster than any human trader on Earth. It wasn't even a contest. On that day, the Korean market went completely haywire. One moment it surged, the next it crashed. Then it spiked again, only to nosedive seconds later. The stock charts looked like a roller coaster designed by a madman. Up and down, hope and despair like a cruel game meant to torture every investor's nerves. After barely surviving one insane day of trading, even Feiduan Capital, the one that started this whole financial war, wasn't spared. President Yu, A financial officer reported nervously, "We should withdraw. The Korean market is completely out of control. Our setup no longer applies. Some unknown international force has taken over. So far, we've lost nearly 2 trillion yuan." "Understood. I'll report this to the boss." Yu Lingshuang's heart sank with guilt. They had spent 2 months setting this trap, investing over 10 trillion yuan, shaking the entire Korean financial system. And yet, not only had they earned nothing, they'd lost 2 trillion. A devastating defeat. She had no idea how to explain this to the boss, without even realizing it. Shin Yuan had already been staying in Korea for over half a month, and during these past weeks, his life had been nothing short of extravagant. Every morning after breakfast, he would go on shopping sprees, lavishly spending money like it meant nothing. He even found a top-tier headhunting agency in Korea and hired 10 elite personal assistants, along with 100 bodyguards and drivers. Then, he set up an investment company and just started burning through cash. Conveniently, the country was in the middle of a financial crisis, stocks plummeting, the real estate market at rock bottom. Many high-quality properties were being sold at deep discounts, while others didn't dare to make a move, either lacking the funds or the confidence. Shin Yuan had money pouring out of his ears. Bored out of his mind, he started buying up real estate. And not just on his own, he had his bodyguards, drivers, and assistants help him with the purchases too. In Korea, any investment over 500 million won qualifies for an F2 visa, granting freedom to engage in economic activity. Invest more than 1 billion won, and you can gain permanent residency directly. Policies are always favorable to the rich. Even more convenient, Korean real estate had practically no purchase restrictions. If you have the money and can pay in full, you can buy as much as you want. And if you pay full price, it's even cheaper. Shin Yuan issued a direct order to his 10 assistants. "Start buying property, go all out." Each of the 10 assistants then hired hundreds of people to help with the buying spree. Shin Yuan even set up a private finance department for himself. He hired more than 50 professional accountants just to keep track of his spending. As of now, he had already purchased 200 villas, 3 estates, 30 office buildings, 20,000 apartment units, and another 70,000 residential homes. And yet, after all that, he had only spent around 50 billion US dollars. If this had been before the financial crisis, buying that much property in Seoul would have cost him over $100 billion easily. But right now, everything was on sale. 50 billion USD, converted to Korean won, was roughly 10 trillion won. But Wankai, his money printing system, could earn that in just 1 hour. 1 hour's income could buy 100,000 homes. So starting today, Shin Yuan officially became Korea's biggest landlord. Managing the rent for hundreds of thousands of properties? He'd need to build a full team for that alone. Otherwise, just collecting rent would be a full-time job. According to Korean media, the financial crisis had tanked the economy. Projections showed a 5-year downturn, at minimum. Major publicly listed companies suffered massive losses and were bracing for large-scale layoffs. Countless fortunes vanished into thin air. Millions of retail investors lost money. Hundreds of corporations were on the brink of bankruptcy. With so many people losing money, one question remained. Who the hell made all the money? It was like feasting on the blood and bones of the people. Just then, one of his assistants, a stunning Korean woman, reported in. "President, there's a situation. Because our company is buying up so many properties, the market crash has suddenly reversed. Prices are rebounding. Sellers who were ready to offload their properties at half price are now holding firm or even increasing prices." Shin Yuan responded calmly. "Then stop. End all property acquisitions immediately. Also, notify the other assistants for your hard work. Each of you gets a bonus, 1 apartment in Gangnam." The assistant froze in place. Even with the ongoing financial crisis, a Gangnam apartment cost over 10 million won per square meter. One unit could easily go for over 1 billion won, with some even reaching the tens of billions. They hadn't even worked for him for a full week, and now they were being rewarded with premium real estate in Seoul's most expensive district? The president was just too generous. Her heart skipped a beat, completely taken by Shin Yuan's overpowering charisma. She couldn't help but whisper as she left the office. "Appa Sarankyo." Just then, Shin Yuan's phone rang. It was Yu Lingshuang. "Boss, I'm sorry. I let you down." Shin Yuan frowned. "What's wrong, Shayu? What happened?" "Our operation to short the Korean financial market failed. While we did manage to strike a blow to the Samsung Group and cause a financial panic, Our team made several mistakes during the execution. We misjudged the stock trends and missed the optimal window to cash out. As of now, we've lost 2 trillion yuan. It's a huge blow to Feiduan Capital's funding chain. Most of our war chest was built on bank loans. If we had pulled out earlier, we wouldn't be in this mess. Boss, the blame is all mine. I was greedy. I wanted to take advantage of the crisis to harvest even more profits. But just as the mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the aureole behind it, another, even stronger capital team turned the tables and drained us. Chan Yuan furrowed his brows. Was there really such a powerful capital force operating in Korea's markets? But that's fine. Finally, you've lost money. He had been waiting for this. Once Yuling Shuang's team couldn't pay back their loans, he'd jump in and shower her with trillions of licking gold to bail her out. Xiaoyu, don't blame yourself. You did exceptionally well. This move even surpassed my expectations. I'm very satisfied. Don't worry about the 2 trillion loss. If Feiduan Capital's funding chain is tight, you can come to me anytime. Not only should you not slow down, you should accelerate our expansion. Let's push the group onto the global stage now. Understood, boss. After hanging up, Yuling Shuang was utterly confused. With massive losses in Korea, shouldn't they be pulling back? Conserving resources? Preventing a funding collapse? But instead, the boss wanted to go faster? Wouldn't that put even more pressure on their finances? What was the boss really planning? Just then, her assistant came over. President Yu, we just received a tip. Chairman Yin has quietly established a new company in Korea. In just a short time, this company acquired over 100,000 properties in Seoul alone. The real estate collapse has stabilized because of it. And we have strong reason to believe the mysterious capital giant behind the chaos in Korea's financial markets is none other than Chairman Yin. Yuling Shuang's eyes widened. But then as she understood everything, I see now. The boss used us as a distraction, pretending we were the ones triggering the financial crisis. But in truth, stock trading has too many unpredictable variables. We didn't have the strength to control the whole market. So boss secretly entered Korea himself and handled the real operation. That mysterious international tycoon was him all along. Thinking of this, Yuling Shuang gasped. The boss had accounted for every variable, and in just half a month, pulled off countless mind-blowing trades behind the scenes. That's it for today's chapter recap. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest manga, manhwa, and manhwa recaps. Got thoughts on today's chapter? Drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on the story. Also, if you know other fans who were reading this manhwa but stopped because it got axed, share this video with them. The more support we get, the more motivation we'll have to keep making these videos. See you in the next one. Until then, keep turning the pages.